Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
of course, that is exactly what we choose, or we try to do each and every day. Make sure we start your day very, very right. Some things in the background there mentioned by Dennis Plum. I tell you, I can do with some of that right now. You see that bacon shack, that corn soup? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, TNT. As we celebrate 63, very special anniversary week to you guys. Good morning to our neighbors in the Caribbean, our friends who are streaming all around the globe on the www. Wherever you may be. I want to thank you very much for being here each and every day, making us your choice, yeah? As always, much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. And everything that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing, honor to you. People, I am yours truly, Sir Charles. Happy am I to be in your company. I tell you, you're listening to New Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. This is where we take you above and beyond. But we want to make sure that we start you off in a good frame of mind. So, everybody, this is your Get Up and Go. Welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Good morning, and welcome to the Breakfast Show on this wonderful Wednesday morning in Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning to our listeners and viewers all across the planet, wherever you are and you're tuning in. We know you have choices, and we appreciate that you chose us. Good morning to my co-hosts, Wendell and Sir Charles.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, everybody.
Adding on a little bit every day. Good morning. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And
I am trainable.
Yeah, you are trying. Okay.
I am trainable.
And good morning, you wonderful listeners and viewers all over the globe. Is it? Yes, it's hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On you.
It is hump day, isn't it? I don't know. I think I might have. Anyway, hush. Yeah, Wendell. Anyway, we have a very important announcement. I think we should make it very early o'clock. Because thanks to the Ministry of Works, no, not Ministry of Works, that's Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation. That's under Minister Eli Zakur. And of course, Chief Traffic Engineer Adande Piggott, who is a big fan of our program, sent out a release a while ago that the priority bus route is now open until further notice. Why? Because I was wondering, hey, they're giving us an Independence Day gift. No, it's not so dramatic. A tree has fallen across the highway by Macoya, and it's blocking the entire highway. I'm trying to figure out that tree, and because there are several trees along there, including, that's right by Fireworks. And by the market. The market is also right.
I see what tree will fall straight across the highway, though.
There's some big trees there. There's some huge trees by the market.
That's heading west and east.
But they didn't say.
No, there's some big trees, but I'm saying the tree wouldn't split in half and block the whole highway. It would block one lane. If you understand what I'm saying.
But maybe it's blocking two.
You mean it's not big?
Maybe it has caused such a disruption that it's blocking the entire highway. That's the information we got.
I feel it's on the westbound
side. It's probably because that's where most traffic will be heading.
Yeah, there have a lot of trees in that area there to go in by the southern side of the highway.
But somebody who's on the commute already
should send us a picture or video.
Send us a picture or something.
Yeah.
So.
But the priority bus route is open until further notice.
Yeah. But obviously it means avoid the highway, at least in Macoya.
Yeah. Don't go down the highway. Just get onto the Eastern Main Road or the bus route from now. If you live in east of Macoya. And if you're west of Macoya, I don't know if it's affecting the westbound, the eastbound lane also. So if you're west of Macoya, I don't know if it means you can also jump onto the bus route one time.
Well, if the bus route is open, the bus route is open. It would be open in one direction, would it? Especially
if you're going to Piaco. If you have to catch a flight, don't take a chance on the highway. Get off the highway.
Even though if all of the traffic is going, if a lot of the traffic is going onto the bus, but thank God it's not, school is not on. But if a lot of the traffic is migrating to the bus route, it's still going to be a lot of traffic because there's so many traffic lights on that bus.
Yep.
So there's going to be a buildup of traffic.
Yeah. Maybe if you could get around, get past Macoya, and then come back onto the highway, it'll probably. Because after Macoya, there's very little traffic lights heading to the west, right?
Yeah.
It's just 2 more traffic lights before
so it's probably a good. Yeah, that's probably a good route. If you could get back onto the highway.
Yeah.
And the highway is free from then on. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be free.
I suppose Dan, they could update us on whether the eastbound is clear.
Yeah.
If the entire highway is closed off because maybe crews are trying to deal with the problem.
Yeah.
And so they may be using both sides of the highway. So they're saying, look, the highway is blocked off.
Yeah.
It just goes to show it doesn't take much to disrupt anything in this country.
No.
Well, not only in this country, that can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes highways close down because of whatever issue.
When there's an accident, let's say in Florida, they block off lanes of road and you have to make do with however you get by, You understand? And you better not you dare not quarrel, nobody to quarrel too. You know what I mean? All you're seeing is these flashing lights and these cones sometimes, and that's it. You move.
It's life.
Yep, it is life. Anyway, happy birthday as we talk life. Happy birthday to a very good friend of ours and a fan of our breakfast show too. Former counselor, he used to be at TN Tech. He probably still is at TN Tech. Karen Sibaran. Morning and happy birthday, Karen. You remember Karen?
Of course I know Karen.
Yes. Today's Karen's birthday. Happy birthday,
Karen. Happy birthday, Karen.
Yeah. Joey Rivers, Joseph Joey Rivers. You remember him too. Wayne Mason, Wayne Shockness, Trisha Lashley, Darren Shepherd. They are all celebrating birthdays today. All right? Happy birthday. All right?
And I have one birthday to celebrate today. My brother Roger, he's celebrating his birthday today. He's over there in South Carolina. So I want to
happy birthday to you.
All the best on this day. Yeah, enjoy your day, my friend.
Happy birthday, Roger. There we go. So don't forget, folks, the bus route is open because of a tree that's blocking the highway at Macoya. All right, an accident. So if you need to just get around and be on your merry way, especially as I say, for people who are catching flights coming east, please be mindful. You don't want to miss your flight, especially on a day if you're rushing to get across the Labor Day too. You need to get to the airport now. All right. Bye.
Is there any indication whether the eastbound is closed out too, Brenda?
No, I'm sure Dandy is listening and will message me. He said it's an electricity pole.
It's not a tree. You give bad information. Oh God, read properly, man.
Electricity pole and tree. Look at that big difference.
That going around the whole planet. That's it, Jeff. That's going over the highway in Trinidad. Which is why I was saying Trinidad doesn't make sense. A pole falling across the highway could fall across the whole highway.
A pole could fall across the whole. So it's an electricity pole.
And pull out
a tree doesn't make sense. A tree doesn't,
You see where they're reading stuff so far. So it's an electricity pole, all right? It's fell and blocking the entire highway.
And then the eastbound would also be affected.
Eastbound will also be affected. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's me.
So he also he gave it advice here. He's menaced. He's Swarat. He says, stay home as well if your workplace allows you to work from home. he's Swarat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that actually is good advice. If you could take a work at home day, because some places allow you, so many work at home days per week, or per month. So if you could work at home today, that's good advice. Because if it's an electricity pole, we don't know how long they're going to take to move that. So if you have time,
that'll take some time.
It's going to be difficult. And once all traffic is on the east, all traffic is on the PBR, it's going to be traffic.
It's going to be plenty traffic.
PBR has endless traffic lights.
And who's going to take priority on the PBR this morning, right? Those guys with the flashing blue lights who could put on a siren even in the private cars. They are going to take priority wherever they want to go this morning. Because most of the time, they have no practice to march and all kind of thing again, but still, they make sure they use their blue lights unsparingly. So they are going to take priority in getting to where they have to go this morning. So the normal citizens, watch out. And they normally they're going to have traffic wardens all over the place, I guess, too, this morning to try to help. And let's hope they do.
That's a more police situation.
Yeah. Anyhow, let's get into the greetings because we have some adjustments on the program this morning, people.
Because, Richard, just one more thing to Charles before I go. There are police officers who are going to be out there and traffic wardens who may not be aware of what happened, And they're still going to be pulling people over,
Of course they're going to be aware, Wendell. Why do you think we're so uncommunicative? Come on.
Islands in the sun, islands in the fun. Welcome one and all to the land of death. Trinity to the boat, Tobago to the boat. When it comes to Bacchanal, well, they can't beat we at Trinity to the boat, Tobago to the boat. Sweet woman parade abundantly. The brethren, they full of energy. Some people say God is a Trinity. Paradise and not convincingly. God gave us a spirit fiery. We're nothing in the world to bother we. But look a smart man gone with money. We still come out and smash up the party. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, how I love up the country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be. Oh, how I love up my country.
If you could change something about the brain, what would you change?
Infinite storage. I would make it so you could remember anything and everything, and you wouldn't forget. That could have its downsides, but I mean, you'd have a pretty sick superpower, though.
So there's a brain over there, by the way. So you're very familiar with the brain?
I love the brain.
Do you have a favorite part of the brain?
Let me see if we can get inside it, because my favorite part of the brain isn't on the outside.
Do a little surgery on that there, Sean.
Scalpel.
I'm your scrub nurse. There you go. Don't cause any catastrophic bleeding. Okay, so what is your favorite part of the brain here?
The hippocampus.
So what do you love about the hippocampus so much?
Memory, because memories are something that you can cherish, and I think memories are the best thing ever because they allow you to share a special bond with your past that usually animals without those developed brains that we have, they can't share that same bond with their past because they wouldn't remember.
Isn't that wonderful? I mean, I could watch that video with Sean over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, he became a member of Mensa at 4 years old. Wow. Great news.
So that was our good news segment for today. So now we can move on to greeting our people in the stream.
Yeah, before we move on, I did correct myself on electricity pole. Folks, it's an electricity pole that fell across the highway, right? POL. It's not a tree, it's an electricity pole. Oh, Lord. Some people will never live it that down. Let me live that down. Anyway,
You
listen
get
to this
bad
story.
information. You get bad information.
I read, yes, I did give bad information.
Yeah, and you knew it. You told us it was an electricity pole before. So when you changed it to a tree, I said in my mind, I thought he said pole. Maybe it's a tree in truth. A tree or a tree splitting in two and blocking the whole highway. That's where my brain went.
Because I read electricity pole, and I don't know why I'm looking around and saying, but there's no tree big enough in that area. I don't know where tree came in. I don't know.
I think tree came in from that time when the whole island went out because a tree hit a line.
Yeah, a tree fell on an electricity pole.
Yeah.
That's what the little boy was talking about just now. The part of your brain that makes you remember stuff.
Yes.
See, for me, but back to that time when
My hippocampus.
Don't live like people do. They always stay with you.
My hippocampus went awry.
yes,
all bad.
went awry.
It's something that you have.
Listen to this story now. Cop staged theft of his own SUV outside Chaguanas police station. 4 suspects arrested. 4 men have been arrested in connection with the theft and stripping of a black Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross SUV belonging to a police officer, which was stolen from just outside the Chaguanas police station. The 36-year-old officer, assigned to the Central Division Gang and Intelligence Unit, initially reported that he parked and secured his car, a brand new car, valued at $299,000, registration PEE 7508, at the Railway Road car park around 3 a.m. on August 13. When he returned about 1:30 p.m., the vehicle was missing. The SUV was later found stripped in Longmanville the next day. Investigations quickly led to the arrest of 4 suspects who admitted to being involved in the theft. Police are also now focusing on the officer himself, as evidence suggests he orchestrated the theft of his own vehicle in order to stage a robbery. Sources indicate the officer had taken out a bank loan to purchase the SUV and may have been unable to meet payments. He is expected to be detained as the probe continues. Isn't that something?
Boy, the broken elements in the police service.
Not police alone.
Well, he's alleged to have. Yeah. He's still innocent until proven guilty.
True.
No past judgment so quickly, Christian, you searchers.
I say, all right, okay.
There is no reply. There's no comeback. Just
no. That lead us on the front road, and we are already at 27 past the hour, and we have a guest that's supposed to come in early in the next 3 minutes, right?
Yes. That's the part I forgot. My hippocampus has failed me again. My hippocampus has failed me again. That's the part I forgot. That our guest is actually at 6:30.
He also said that he wouldn't be able to use his camera. So that's that.
Why?
So let's greet people very quickly.
I like to put them on a spot like that.
You're putting me on a spot. I can't answer.
Suzanne Jessup. Good morning. I just created names this morning. There, folks. Suzanne Jessup, Valerie Mendoza, Brennan Smith, Donna Ramlo Chan, Michael Cadet, Wendy Ann and Frank James, Joyce Phillip, DL, Ava Smith, Margaret Thomas, Rena Jennings, Josie Richardson, Robert Taylor, Michael Mapp, Patricia Defoe, Diane Payne, Odell Guy, Andre Reno, Norris Ferguson, Melissa, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr, Cheryl Johnson, Marlon Motley, Pearl and Stacey Ann Cordis, Lambert Bruce. Lambert didn't type a thing this morning. CJ from New York, Dave Gosain, Lambert Bruce also he finally comes in with his greeting. Kathy Ann Charles, Carol Guevara, Trinidad Margot, David McCarthy, Bernadette Yates and Nelicia Yates, Trinidad Margot, Gavin Frank, Wayne Ramsey, Andre 868, Diane Payne, The Rich, Raymond Small, Avanel Brown Rosta, Anne Noel, DL, James Kamau, Alistair Hart, Sankofa, Julia Batiste, Miguel Gonzalez, Jennifer, Cookie Monster, Wendy Ann James, Joanne Cyrus, Ila Rizan, Shema Paul, Richard Jemmett, Evans David, Slick Money Grip, Ambrose Blanc, Ava Smith, James Samuel, and Judith Jones. They are all saying hello this morning. But and Sir Charles may have a few, but we do have our guest at 6. Let me go and fix that blind. That's sunlight.
All right. So while you do that, let me just say good morning to Kent. Good morning to Mr. Billy. Good morning to Terry and Peters. Frank in Ruka Cullen. Good morning. Fifi, good morning. Mahi, good morning. Captain Ron, good morning. Oliver Man Warren, good morning. Slick Money Group and Jennifer. Good morning to you guys on the chat this morning. Right, so.
All right, and we have a new name in there just now, Junior Barnes. That's a brand new name also, too. All right. Tom Jones. Richard James Samuel is saying if he posts the lyrics for Tom Jones' Memories, if you'll sing the whole song for him.
Of course I will. You know, we do shy away from singing.
No, we don't.
This is not Power 102.
He wants to hear you sing.
I like how you say that, dude. This is not Power 102.
Let's take that break and come back.
All right. S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop. Located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davantry tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Coach, yes, Coach, are you passionate about serving others and supporting people as they reach the highest version of themselves? My name is Jesse McBarrow, and I've been able to earn a living as a life coach serving people all around the world, and so can you. Are you ready to be internationally certified? Enroll today for this program and learn everything that you need to know about being a professional life coach. Listen, there are payment plans available as well too, so see you in class.
For registration, contact the Institute of Health and Fitness at 336-4935.
You don't leave foul to watch God. It's in San Fernando. Queen's Hall was on fire. Now we head to San Fernando at Naparima Bowl. 2 nights only. Saturday the 6th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 6:30 p.m.
I am still laughing about the show at Queen's Hall. If there's a repeat, I will be there.
Tickets available at the Naparima Bowl box office from Tuesday, September 2nd, and now at usual outlets.
I rated 10 out of 10. I laughed for the entire show.
That was a fantastic production, man.
You don't leave foul to watch God. San Fernando, don't miss it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, of course, we're moving straight into our guest this morning, and we have Dr. Amery Browne with us this morning, bright and early. Good morning, Dr. Browne.
Good morning, Richard, and good morning to, I believe that's Wendell I'm seeing there.
Yeah.
And any other co-host.
And Sir Charles.
Of course, Sir Charles, and all of your listeners and viewers in Trinidad and Tobago and further.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Of course, we wanted to talk about these several international relations issues that seem to be affecting Trinidad and Tobago this round. And of course, I wanted to start off with the J.D. Vance statement that compared Washington D.C. statistics to Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, the government didn't do a defense at all to it. They just said, well, it was, it's true, basically. And I don't know if they were kind of casting aspersions to PNM. And I did see the press conference where you responded to that. But if you could contextualize how you saw the government's response with regard to that.
Well, yeah, we had the unusual development. It's not every day, every week or every year that such a senior official in Washington, D.C. would make any public reference to Trinidad and Tobago. What you have remarked upon is the U.S. Vice President in an interaction in the city, referring to Trinidad and Tobago by way of responding to protesters. So there's some kind of civil and political protest taking place in Washington, D.C. against a particular type of mobilization. And in response to that, apparently off the cuff, the U.S. Vice President compares the rate of criminal activity in the city to Trinidad and Tobago, saying that they are even worse than Trinidad and Tobago. That's a very negative reference. And in a country as small as ours, with an economy as sensitive as ours, someone of that profile making a negative reference to our country, it should be taken seriously by the government and particularly the minister with responsibility for foreign affairs. I was very disappointed that the response appeared to be very nonchalant. It appeared to be almost approving of that comparison and those references. And Minister Sobers really went a step further in basically applauding, saying that he was unbothered, and indicating as if he could read the mind of Vice President Vance, indicating that the Vice President was referring to the PNM Trinidad and Tobago, words to that effect. So I took strong objection to all of that. First of all, the good name, brand, and image of Trinidad and Tobago must be defended. And when we are being used in a reference in such a way, this might be the first time some of that audience would have been hearing of our country. And that's not how we want to be labeled or captured. And my recommendation, my advice to the government is that when incidents like these occur, requires some degree of defense of the good name and standard of our country. And I gave an example of how we can turn that negative into a positive in terms of acknowledging, yes, we have challenges with crime, just like everywhere else, just like many parts of the United States of America and all other countries. But at the same time, we also have some things that make us very special and positive. We have some strong attributes. You can give those examples. And so when the U.S. media is covering the reaction here to the Vice President's comments, they can package or include some of those positives with it. So it was, in a sense, first of all, what did it say? A dropping of the ball, a dragging of the flag on the part of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, but in a sense also a missed opportunity. And given the pattern of exchanges, apparently now with our friends in Washington, D.C., there may be other such references in the future. It was a bit strange why he would have referred to us when there are other, I would say, hotter examples of that could have been responded. But apparently there was some top-of-mind awareness of Trinidad and Tobago, and it seemed an easy reference at the time.
Yeah, I'm just wondering too. I mean, of course, I'm sure that there are some clever advertising companies that can use that clip and turn it around and make it a plus for Trinidad and Tobago as a marketing or branding that you can use. I'm sure there are clever ways you can twist it around and
Well, it starts with a desire. You have to have an intention and a vision. And apparently, the main takeaway of the government from that particular episode was to sort of kowtow or bow or agree, cause no disturbance. And you have to think a little deeper than that. And especially when, as a foreign minister, you are the custodian of our brand in our exchanges with other capitals and entities, then you have a responsibility to make something positive out of the situation, and at minimum defend the image of this country. And I reminded the government this week that we have an upcoming campaign to sit at the United Nations Security Council in a non-permanent seat. That's not a light undertaking. And that's where we are offering ourselves in a competitive process, by the way, to be considered one of the brokers of international peace and diplomacy. But if you can't stand up for yourself in something as simple as that, if you can't stand up for your nation in something as straightforward as that and as clear as that, then how can you intervene and have a clear voice in large matters of conflict, peace and diplomacy affecting the entire planet? And therefore, it really is a very poor sign of the nature of this government engagement, how they view the world, how they view our foreign policy, and what is the place of Trinidad and Tobago, what is the place of Caricom in the world today? Are we just there to be satellites of others, or do we have an authentic voice? You'd remember David Rudder in his iconic song, Rally Round the West Indies. One of the early phrases of that song, he asked a rhetorical question. Does this world need small islands anymore? This is a world that seems to not need small islands anymore. And the affirmation in the song was basically, yes, we are necessary. We offer something that no one else offers. We have a voice. What is the voice of Trinidad and Tobago today, my friend? So I ask it rhetorically.
While I agree, Dr. Browne, that a defense should have been made because you protect brand Trinidad and Tobago, and I felt that the government did lapse in terms of that. But didn't the opposition also lapse? Because that was about 6 days ago, and the opposition only had their press conference, I think, was it on Monday, to address several issues, including that issue.
I disagree with you vehemently, and very clearly, Richard, I want to correct you. That is not the case. Myself, Minister Gonzalez and others, I recall that my reaction was instantaneous. In fact, I have to tell you it was instinctive. On hearing what the Vice President had said, I reacted immediately, even before I read what Minister Sobers had said. And my reaction at the time was, it must be noted, it is not usual, it is unusual that a negative reference to another sovereign country would be made by a foreign official while engaging in a domestic political exchange, because that's what was occurring. It really had nothing to do with Trinidad and Tobago. And other examples really could have been drawn. So I want to just adjust what you said. There was an immediate reaction, and of course, after Minister Sobers gave an unsatisfactory response on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago, there were further reactions by a member of Parliament and Chief Whip, Marvin Gonzalez, who's the chairman of the People's National Movement. And then immediately on Monday, which is the first working day thereafter, the the opposition had an official media conference where the leader of the opposition spoke, both myself and Member of Parliament Stuart Young also spoke. So I saw some questions during the media conference that suggest that the government dropped the ball, but the opposition was slow to respond. That is not correct. We gave our media conference, sometimes it's on a Tuesday, this time it was on a Monday. And before and since then, you would recognize the Prime Minister has not made himself available to the public or the media, has not responded to any direct questions from the media. There's been no opportunity whatsoever to examine the government stance on that matter, or the matter of U.S. deployment of U.S. naval assets and Trinidad and Tobago's response to that, or even subsequent development. The government is missing in action.
But with regard to the U.S. Presence in the Caribbean and the issue of the warships to deal with drug trafficking, as the Trump administration has said, which I think I don't think people are against that, or having some presence even in the Gulf of Paria, which has become kind of an unlawful area with piracy and all sorts of things going on in that area. But the issue I think that irked a lot of citizens was the Prime Minister's statement that she didn't feel the need to consult with Caricom. I'm paraphrasing here. She didn't feel the need to consult with Caricom, and that each island can deal with its own response to the issue. I know you dealt with that in the press conference too, but I know some of our listeners and viewers may not have heard that press conference. So if you could contextualize how the opposition sees that response.
Yes, so you're quite correct. I think you've summarized it well. While we don't have a problem, in fact, Trinidad and Tobago has a long history of engagement, cooperation, and partnership with a number of partners in the fight against illicit drugs, the United States of America being a principal partner in that regard. And that has been consistent across administrations. I don't think any observer would classify this particular deployment as routine or typical. It came apparently out of the blue. It came on the heels of the certain media in the United States focusing on what has been described as charges in various courts against the president of a neighboring country, the president of Venezuela. The scope of the asset, the nature of the asset appear to be quite unusual, and a number of observers have referenced them as more typical of a landing force and a sort of military projection, as opposed to the types of assets that we generally see deployed in dealing with drug runners, smugglers, cartels, the semi-submersibles and other equipment that small light aircraft, the other equipment that these drug cartels would utilize to get their product through the Caribbean and into North America. So there have been, I would say, legitimate questions along those lines. I think some observers have borne in mind past developments, such as what occurred in Panama at the end of the 1980s. Some of us were around then and some of us weren't. But when there was literally a military operation in Panama City on the basis of narco allegations at the time involving the president of Panama. All of that resulted in the deaths of hundreds of individuals, military and civilian, and the almost literal extraction of the president of a country to face trial in the United States of America. He was subsequently sentenced and literally died.
But the Prime Minister has obviously been very clear that Trinidad and Tobago's position is in alliance with the United States. And I think the United States, I think in news last night, it said that the United States had issued a statement saying that they were now in alliance with several countries in the area.
Marco Rubio was doing an interview.
Yes, we saw that as well. And a very short list of some interesting countries were referenced there. But I just want to start with the Caricom aspect, because the Prime Minister could have said, as she did, she could have rolled out the red carpet, given her full support, etc. One question is, what exactly are you supporting? Are you aware of the details of the rules of engagement, etc., of what you're giving support to? And then the other question is, why did she take the time and pain to basically go after Caricom, even in a statement like this? Now, bear in mind, this comes on the heels of the Prime Minister declining to attend the first opportunity to attend the Caricom Heads of Government meeting in Jamaica after being elected. She is never given a reason for not attending. And the question is, was she advised or instructed not to go? Because that set a very clear signal of where Caricom falls. What value does this country and this government place on Caricom at this time? And then in her statement, I'll give you the exact quotation. She said, the very second paragraph, the Trinidad and Tobago government has not engaged and, listen to this, has no intention of engaging Caricom on this matter. Each member state can speak for themselves on this issue. That is bizarre, that is highly unusual, and that is not in keeping with the conduct of a founding member of Caricom, and worse yet, the country with lead responsibility for regional security within the Caricom cabinet. It's a quasi-cabinet where different heads, different states are given lead responsibility. Guyana has responsibility for agriculture and food security, etc., etc. Trinidad and Tobago's responsibility is regional security. And this is what our Prime Minister is telling the nation, the region, and the world at this time. We have not engaged with Caricom, and we have no intention of doing so on this matter, and well, every country for themselves.
Yeah.
Why is that? Who is advising that posture? And this occurred even as efforts were being made to develop a Caricom consensus. So what she did is basically scuttle that. That's what she did.
I'm finding it curious, though, that no one is questioning, no one is talking to the other prime ministers in the region to find out what are their thoughts on that comment. The media has almost gone silent on this issue.
Well, I'm not able to respond.
Yeah, I think other prime ministers would probably be diplomatic about it. While they assess where is Trinidad. Obviously, this government obviously leans to the right. It's very clear in terms of the first 100+ days that they're leaning to the right, and the Prime Minister has also articulated that she's putting Trinidad and Tobago first, which is also another kind of stab to Caricom in a kind of way.
Well, not just Trinidad and Tobago first. That's a slogan. That's all that is. Echoing literally the America First slogan being used to the north of us. That's all that is. But what does that mean in this circumstance? Well, that has to be explained, and that's where we are calling for the government. They haven't appeared before the media to respond to questions on behalf of the citizens. They haven't done so on this death threats and all of these circumstantial chatter about Wayne Sturge and others. They haven't done so. No one has responded to questions.
They seem to be very media shy. Because we
seem to be getting a free pass on that. So pressure really needs to be brought to bear, that they need to respond and engage as opposed to sending out WhatsApp, deploying trolls. You see some of their senators, they're just literally paid trolls and attack dogs. That's all they're doing. But you have a prime minister, you have a minister of defense, you have a minister of homeland security, you have a minister of foreign affairs that need to be engaged. Come, be brave, respond to the media, stand up, answer questions, have a media conference, and help the people of this country understand your position and your posture on matters affecting all of us.
And I mean, there is nothing fundamentally wrong with putting Trinidad and Tobago first. But when it comes after certain statements that you've made about Caricom, it kind of seems to be like you're sending these coded messages to Caricom that for the next 5 years, you're not that important to us.
Well,
which
Richard,
must
I
be,
want to take you up on
must,
that.
which must be worrisome, especially to the business community, because a lot of the business that Trinidad and Tobago does is of the Caribbean.
You have hit the nail on the head. This is not the first time we've gone down this road. When Dr. Keith Rowley became Prime Minister for the first time, one of his first missions was to repair the damage that this same Mrs. Prasad Bissetta had done to Caricom, to our relations with Jamaica and others. He went to Kingston, met with the Prime Minister at the time, and did work in repairing that damage. There was a literal boycott being mobilized back then. Here we are today, in the midst of tariffs being leveraged against Trinidad and Tobago for 15% and other measures. The reaction at the time was, well, we are going to be looking at other markets, etc. Part of that response has to be within Caricom itself. And here we are, simultaneously sending all of these very damaging messages, dangerous messages with respect to how we view the Caribbean community. And if you read the media across the region and the editorials in Jamaica and Barbados and elsewhere, it would tell you that some of these Caricom people are paying more attention than people right here in this country. They are following what this government is doing. And the response and reaction is inevitable. If you don't value us, how do you expect us to value you? So the implications are not simple. The implications are profound. And it is my hope and prayer that this government will somehow change its course on this matter, take its responsibilities as lead of regional security for Caricom more seriously, consult and engage. That's all that it takes. Consult and engage with Caricom colleagues, because at the end of the day, we are stronger together. And if tomorrow a disaster hits Trinidad and Tobago or any other country in the region, the first responders, it's happened time and time again, are our neighbors and the people with whom we share the treaty and revised Treaty of Shoutouts.
You know what is fascinating to me, and I suppose this is a political thing and about people's interests, is that, well, of course, our business community tends to be conservative, but the business community has been pretty silent. I don't know if they're assessing the situation, because they will be directly affected if there is negative fallout from the Caricom relationships with Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, if there's conflict,
I can't foresee it, but obviously the business chambers have been silent thus far. They have not said anything. And as I said, they tend to be conservative. But what is even more puzzling to me, Dr. Browne, is that the trade union movement, who have always supported Maduro in our interviews with them, seem to be conspicuously silent. Of course, they are a big part of the coalition of interests that swept the UNC into power, but they seem to be very silent on the issue of a pretty anti-Maduro stance that the Prime Minister is taking. And the unions have
only
said
MSJ has spoken out.
Who's spoken out?
Only David Abdullah from MSJ has spoken out.
Well, MSJ has spoken out, but I mean, MSJ is always consistent in terms of it. But the major unions like OWTU and the PSA and all of the others who would usually have, serious opinions on this, have fallen silent. They have said nothing. And
Richard, you again, you're on point. You're on point. It's beyond statements that they would have made in the past. I have in my hand a series of articles going back to 2017, 2019, etc., where leaders like Ansel Roger and others literally were protesting in front of Marley Street, in front of the U.S. Embassy, when tensions had raised and there was talk of regime change, etc., and mobilization, quite similar to what's happening now. They came out in front of the U.S. Embassy and were protesting. And the headlines at the time, in the Express, the Guardian, etc., trade unions fear war in Venezuela. Trinidad and Tobago will feel backlash. Roger and unions pledge solidarity with Maduro, literally solidarity with Maduro. And there were a series of statements being made at those protests, etc., talking about dark forces. This is Roger, referred to dark forces attempting to topple Maduro's government and misinformation being fed to the world via mass media. And there were the tutor was there, OWTU was there, the Industrial Sanitation and General Workers Union was there, the Banking and General Workers Union was there. So the trade unions were all hot and bothered at that time, mobilized, protesting. On this occasion, coming on the heels of a political alignment, a general election, etc., with the same principles at stake. In times of convenience, some of those voices, not all, but some, many of them, have gone completely silent at this time. Just another observation.
I know we're about to wrap up the interview, but I was just, what has occurred to me, Dr. Browne, is that, as I said, I think a lot of citizens don't mind that the U.S. is successful somehow in dealing with drug trafficking and the lawlessness in the Gulf of Paria and in the Caribbean Sea generally with regard to drug traffickers and human trafficking and stuff like that. I think a lot of citizens don't have a big adversarial position against that. They don't. But when you align yourself so heavily with the United States, at some point the U.S. is going to leave.
Where does that leave you? Yeah, it feels like a blank check being signed, figuratively. But I just want to say, these assets are not in any Gulf of Paria, and all of this is part of the misinformation. These are large naval vessels in international waters in the Southern Caribbean. So there are those who have formed the impression, based on the rhetoric from the Prime Minister and others, that this is some kind of shield for human trafficking or smuggling or drugs between South America and TNT. That's not the case. These are in international waters. They're not in the Gulf of Paria. They're not between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago. And I just want to end by reminding, there was a prime minister of this country who said that the war against crime is on land and not in the sea. Do you remember that?
Yes,
He
I reminded
canceled the contract for own naval assets, which would have been in the Gulf of Paria and elsewhere, actually doing this interdiction and deterrence. And here we are, several years later, rolling out the red carpet for a foreign armada to come here and do, ostensibly on the face of it, that same job. It is a great pity, and it is a sacrifice of our identity, our sovereignty, and certainly our position and value for Caricom. There is still room for adjustment. We call on the government of Trinidad and Tobago. You don't have to be anti-American, but you have to be more pro-Trinidad and Tobago, more defensive of our interests and our solidarity. And certainly that of Caricom.
Trinidad and Tobago first, to be fair,
that's the rhetoric. That's the rhetoric. Or what we're doing is we're selling our sovereignty and packaging it as patriotism.
But maybe she's saying that some of these concessions and some of this very vocal supporting of the United States is going to maybe reap some benefits with the removal of tariffs and get better access.
Well, I would love to see those tariffs reduced, but you would see even best friends of the United States of America, when it comes to their economic interests, best friends being slapped with 15, 20, 30% and more. So I think they might be misreading what they see as a special relationship. And if you look at the countries, the long list of countries in South and Central America, and I heard the Secretary of State indicate a very short list of countries that are a part of this new concept of a coalition against cartels, which were Paraguay, a very right-wing South American country, Ecuador, Argentina, a very right-wing South American country, Guyana, which obviously has an important interest and stake in this whole thing, and Trinidad and Tobago, out of all the countries. So we're not in the majority here at the moment. We'll see how this develops.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Browne, for speaking with us this morning, bright and early. We appreciate you taking the time. Always interesting conversations with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Dr. Browne, thanks. Of course, we are a little behind time for a poll, but I did send a poll, so Richard could put it up and we could we could look at it. You all can vote on it during the news time. And
I can't put it up by magic, you know. It will come up eventually. I mean,
but you're not a magician.
I cannot put it up by magic. It doesn't happen magically. News is next.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio. I'm Derek. The ceremonial opening of the 2025-2026 law term will be scaled back and held at the Hall of Justice in Port of Spain instead of Napa. The judiciary says the event on September 16 will be limited to a court sitting, with Chief Justice Ivor Archie delivering an address at 10 a.m. It will be broadcast live on TV and social media. The decision follows government's cancellation of Independence Day celebrations this year, including the parade and fireworks, because of the state of emergency and ongoing security threats. Instead, a national day of prayer and reflection will be observed. State-sponsored fireworks are canceled, though permits will be given for private use of silent fireworks to accommodate vulnerable people and animals. The judiciary says the full ceremonial format, with service and parade, will return to Napa in 2026. There is confusion over whether First Citizens Bank CEO Karen Darbazy has resigned. Darbazy has written to Planning Minister Kennedy Swartzing, insisting she never resigned, but instead proposed going on pre-retirement leave. In an August 19 letter, she outlined a transition plan, taking vacation in September, assisting with the handover to Group CEO designate Jason Julian, then proceeding on pre-retirement leave until her scheduled retirement in May 2026. However, Swartzing, citing advice from the Attorney General, responded on August 20th that he accepted her resignation and directed her to proceed on immediate leave. Darbazy replied the same day, seeking a correction of the record, stressing she only proposed retirement in 2026. The Finance Ministry has since instructed her to return all company devices. The bank's board later approved her vacation from August 21st, with retirement now effective October 21st. Deputy CEO Jason Julian has been appointed acting group CEO, while Sana Ragby will act as deputy CEO. The Finance Ministry has also called a special shareholders meeting to elect a new board of directors. A tragic fire has claimed the life of a Mon Repos man. 60-year-old David Greaves died after trying to save his home, which caught fire while he was preparing to cook on a fireside early Sunday. Police were told Greaves accidentally used too much gasoline to accelerate the flame, sparking a sudden blaze that quickly engulfed his 10-by-10 galvanized iron home and nearby bush along Navitt Road. The structure had no electricity or running water. Fire officers from Mon Repos responded around 12:30 a.m. and were able to extinguish the flames. Greaves, who suffered burns to his legs and smoke inhalation, was first taken to the San Fernando General Hospital by neighbors and later intubated. He succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment. 4 sisters have won a high court battle for access to their family's land in Roxborough, Tobago. On August 25th, Justice Frank Seepersad ruled that Maudlin, Ava, Carmaria, and Karina London are legally entitled to a right-of-way across neighboring land owned by Peaches Douglas. The Londons argued the strip of land, 56 feet long and 2.5 meters wide, had been their only practical route to the main road for decades. The judge agreed, calling the alternative path treacherous and nearly impassable during the rainy season. Douglas, who inherited the property from her late father, claimed the Londons had no legal right and had stopped using it. But after reviewing testimony, documents, and visiting the site, Justice Seepersad sided with the Londons, finding they had continuously used the access for over 20 years, enough to establish a legal easement. He declared the sisters, their families, and licensees may now cross the strip by foot or vehicle, ensuring permanent access to their Roxborough land. 3 Venezuelan men are in police custody following a home invasion and robbery in Barrackpore on Sunday night. Police said the suspects are a 25-year-old of Barrackpore and 2 men aged 19 and 26 of Lachuz Road, Pennell. Around 8 p.m., the victim, also Venezuelan, was sitting outside his home with his wife when 4 men, one armed with a gun and another with a cutlass, approached. The men, described as slim-built, Spanish-speaking, and dressed in dark clothing with black caps, forced the couple inside, tied them up in the bedroom, and demanded cash. The bandits ransacked the house and escaped with $15,000. The victim later freed himself, called police via 999, and ran into the road to seek help. Acting Corporal Balgar and PC Daniel Pierre of the Debe Police Post responded, and while patrolling Wellington Road, spotted 4 men matching the descriptions. One escaped near the TT Post Mailing Center, but the officers arrested the remaining 3. A search revealed almost $11,000 in $100 bills on the 19-year-old suspect. Nothing illegal was found on the others. The victim later identified the men on the scene, shouting and gesturing in Spanish that they had just robbed him. Also at the scene were Acting Sergeant Sechurin, Sergeant Sukram, and PCs Ali and Boudram. Barrackpore police are continuing investigations. In international news, Ukrainian forces say Russia has crossed into the eastern Dnipropetrovsk region, but their advance has been stopped. Viktor Trehubov of the Dnipro Operational Group told the BBC it was the first large-scale attack there. Russia has long claimed to be operating in the area, pushing from nearby Donetsk. This week, the Ukrainian Deep State Project said Russian troops occupied 2 border villages. But Ukraine's military denied that, insisting it still controls Zaporizhzhia, and fighting continues near Novohorigorivka. Moscow has not claimed Dnipropetrovsk outright, but has attacked its major cities, including the regional capital Dnipro. The region, with more than 3 million people before the war, is Ukraine's second biggest industrial hub after the Donbass. Despite heavy casualties, Russia has made recent gains in Donetsk, though a surprise push near Dobropilya earlier this month now appears halted. And that's news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
You are listening to New Era TT Radio, and this is our journey to independence. When the West Indies Federation dissolved in 1962, Trinidad and Tobago needed a national anthem of its own. Composer Patrick Castagny had written a song for the Federation called Forged from the Love of Liberty. With some small changes, it became the anthem of Trinidad and Tobago at independence. The words are powerful: liberty, equality, togetherness. It is a song that calls every citizen, regardless of race, class, or background, to unite under one flag, one destiny. On Independence Morning, as the new flag was raised, this anthem was sung for the very first time, sealing our identity as a free nation. Forged from the Love of Liberty is more than just a song. It is a promise we continue to carry 63 years later. That was Journey to Independence right here on New Era TT Radio, taking you above and beyond.
London's in the
Arima, get ready for the Arima Independence Picnic and Family Day this Sunday, August 31st from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Arima Velodrome. Come celebrate Trinidad and Tobago's 63rd anniversary of independence. And guess what? It's absolutely free. Bring the whole family and enjoy religious and cultural performances, picnic vibes, family fun, food and drinks. Free bouncy castle and face painting for the kids. Plus, lots of prizes and surprises. Yes, your coolers are allowed. So pack your picnic baskets, bring your friends, and come celebrate unity. Come here and enjoy Arima. Don't miss it. It's Arima Independence Picnic and Family Day this Sunday, August 31st at the Arima Velodrome, 3 to 10 p.m. And it's absolutely free. Happy Independence!
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Wake up, rise up. It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
we welcome you inside the second hour of the breakfast show right here on New Era TT Radio, taking you above and beyond. Wherever you may be, we are glad to have you. And remember, we stream all day, every day. And of course, as we get ready to celebrate 63 years of independence, to all our pan lovers, and that one went out especially for you. Sorry I can't give you all of it, but I'll give it a little later on in the day, all right? Of course, as I said, we stream all day, every day, newerattradio.com on New Era TT Radio, so you can get us on TuneIn, so you can get us on all your Alexa and Google devices. And to the folks who are streaming with us on M&E TV, I want to say thanks to the folks at M&E for for having us inside the last few months, I should say, sorry. And to let you know that next week from Tuesday, because Monday is a holiday, you will pick up the breakfast show on Guyana Caribbean, right? So please take note. So don't go across too early. Right, from next week, Tuesday, we will be coming to you on Guyana Caribbean. And of course, for all you people on the YouTube stream, your next engagement will be inside of the Drive Time Exchange. That's later on today between 4 and 6 p.m. Our moderator today is none other than Andy Johnson. All right, so we'll be back. And of course, continue to vote on the poll while we finish pay some bills.
Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair. We do it all.
Coach, yes, Coach, are you passionate about serving others and supporting people as they reach the highest version of themselves? My name is Jesse McBarrow, and I've been able to earn a living as a life coach serving people all around the world, and so can you. Are you ready to be internationally certified? Enroll today for this program and learn everything that you need to know about being a professional life coach. Listen, there are payment plans available as well too, so see you in class.
For registration, contact the Institute of Health and Fitness at 336-4935.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
You don't leave foul to watch God. It's in San Fernando. Queen's Hall was on fire. Now we head to San Fernando at Naparima Bowl. 2 nights only. Saturday the 6th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 6:30 p.m.
I am still laughing about the show at Queen's Hall. If there's a repeat, I will be there.
Tickets available at the Naparima Bowl box office from Tuesday, September 2nd, and now at usual outlets.
I rated 10 out of 10. I laughed for the entire show.
That was a fantastic production, man.
You don't leave foul to watch God. San Fernando, don't miss it.
All right, so we are back. Aren't we, Wendell? And we're back?
Of course we are back.
Okay, because it seemed like you didn't know.
I know my place, you know.
What place is that? So there's our morning poll. Of course, we'll take the poll results now. Our morning poll this morning was, do you think that there should have been a defense of Trinidad and Tobago's image by the government after the statement by the U.S. Vice President? That's our poll this morning. So we will start to tally the votes that would have come in from people who saw the poll. Of course, some people might be now hearing the poll. So the poll is, do you think that there should have been a defense of Trinidad and Tobago's image by the government after the statement by the U.S. Vice President? That's our poll this morning.
Of course, the U.S., what is Marco Rubio? Secretary of State? What is he?
I think he's Secretary of State.
Yeah. He also linked Trinidad and Tobago as part of some kind of coalition yesterday. And I'm listening to this and I'm saying, so we hearing the news from people outside of Trinidad and Tobago. We ain't hearing it from Trinidad and Tobago. We're not hearing it from our government or from our line minister or whatever. We're hearing it from the U.S. about our alignment with them on certain issues. And I'm saying, okay, but it's clearly a new dispensation, and people are saying, well, it's a new government, you only give them a chance. Well, yeah, fine, go right ahead. Knock yourself
Do not misspeak. Do not misspeak, Wendell.
Knock yourself out. You go ahead and do what all you want to do.
Well, it is a new government, and they're entitled to govern how they see to govern. But they are also subject, like the PNM was, they're subject to criticism.
Yes.
They're subject to answer that criticism too. What I find a little disappointing about this government is that they're obviously media shy. I think for all media, they're obviously media shy. They don't like to do interviews. And to me, if you're putting yourself up into those positions, the Forte State has a right to interview you and grill you about issues. That's the nature of the position that you're in. I'm not saying that all PNM people were also, there were some that were media shy there too. But it seems as if there's a collective, memo that went out, you are media shy.
Because Richard, there's clearly no set plan. It's almost like any day.
Well, I can't say that. I don't.
That's my impression. That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah.
No, there is a plan. The plan is to do not speak until we give clearance.
There's obviously you're right. There's a plan in that regard. That be quiet. Do not just speak just like that. Unless, of course, some of them we have a personal relationship with, and we have gotten them on the program. But don't be afraid to defend your decisions. You are living in a democracy, so people are going to be critical of certain issues. Some you'll get support from, some you'll get criticism from. And the criticism you're going to get you're not going to get so much criticism from your loyal supporters. So it's the other people that sometimes you have to listen to say, well, am I on the right track or am I not? Because loyalists tend to just go along with whatever you say and whatever you do, which is what they would have done with the PNM too. But at points, the rest of the country has to stand up and say, hey, we think what you're doing is wrong. We think your language is inappropriate. We think X or Y is wrong. And you speak up. That's the nature of a democracy.
I think the mistake this government has made is that they've made so many promises on the platform that they're realizing now they cannot fulfill them. They just cannot. And, and I was saying, it's not that people are unreasonable, I think people knew that a lot of what you were promising, you could not have done it. You understand? But they give you the benefit of the doubt. But now you realize you can't do it. Say something.
Well, that'll become clearer as the budget is read in October and stuff like that. So I think they're going to try to keep a lot of the promises, and because they were so clear. But of course, governments always stray off their whatever they said on a platform, from time to time.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it all goes. I take it. I think we're all Trinidad and Tobago first in a sense. And so the Prime Minister saying that you're trying to go first, I don't think there's anything negative about that.
Exactly. That will resonate with everybody.
Yeah, but I think it resonates with a particular kind of how to put it? It resonates a little wrongly, or may not. may not have been her intention, but because it comes after statements about saying I have no intention of consulting Caricom and stuff like that, and then say that under this administration you're going to put Trinidad and Tobago first, it seems to be sending signals, whether you intended it or not, to Caricom that, you know, to hell with you.
Yep.
We are going to seek Trinidad and Tobago's interests first, even if it's counter the interests of Caricom, which it should not be.
Yeah.
You can seek Trinidad and Tobago interests, but also still be a collective, because the ultimate philosophical intent of Caricom is that we become a unified space akin to the EU. And of course, all the Caricom leaders have a big part to blame in how far we have gotten and how far we have not gotten. And a lot of it is how far we have not gotten. Because they made a decision that it was going to be that you could go to any island and live and work. They made that for since about 2 years ago. Up to now, we can't see it. Remember when I told you all? I said it was July, they said. Then they said, no, it wasn't July, it was August. Nothing. Caricom leaders at work again. It's annoying. It is annoying. And I am speaking to all of you Caricom leaders. Y'all are annoying as hell in terms of getting it done in the interest of the citizens of Caricom. But let's not stray. Let's get back to the poll. The poll is, do you think that there should have been a defense of Trinidad and Tobago's image by the government after the statement by the U.S. Vice President? That's our poll this morning. What says you? Start giving me
Joyce Phillip, yes. Jason Samuel, no. Anthony Atwell, yes. Ava Smith, yes. Jaron Joseph, yes. Michael Oliver, yes. Cheryl Henry, yes. Beauty Culture, yes. Josie Richardson, yes. Joanne Cyrus, yes. Carol Guevara, absolutely. I would imagine that's yes. Diane Payne, yes. Finbar, oh, that is about the tune. What tune Sir Charles played? Was that All Stars, Woman on the Bass? Well, I mean, there is no better tune ever to grace the Steel Pan Orchestra. We know that. That's a fact. Huh?
No, it's your opinion.
Alistair Hart says yes. Joanne Cyrus, yes. Derek Billewin, yes. Margaret Thomas, yes. Melchizedek, yes. Starchild, I'm agreeing with that statement you made there. If you were serious about crime on the whole, we would have left Gary Griffith. I'm agreeing with that. Melchizedek, yes. David McCarthy, yes. Finbar Collins says yes. Truth Set You Free, yes. Debbie Mitchell did not vote. James Kamau, yes. Cheryl Henry talking everything else but voting. No, she did vote, and Marlon Motley, yes. Tanisha Lewis, yes. Estelita didn't vote. Melchizedek, okay. Kazim Mohammed says yes. Bernadette Yates, yes. Estelita Sampson, yes. And Eunice Dublin says yes.
Of course, you can also vote on WhatsApp 281-1315, 281-1315. For those of you watching us on M&E TV, you can vote via that number, 281-1315. You can call it, or you can also WhatsApp it.
All right, so here's who's on the WhatsApp this morning. Very early, the votes came in, and Mr. Billy said yes, Trinidad first. Judith in Tobago, yes. Linda didn't vote. Captain Ron, yes. Archbishop Ashton Clark, yes. Black Pearl says yes. Fifi in Ethiopia says yes. Frank says yes. Mahia in Ohio says yes. Sean Ram says yes. Sexy Red says yes. And Annan, who's visiting us with us again today, says yes. That's it.
And one more from CJ. CJ also says yes.
And Brenda also says yes. She just came in there. Nice.
All right. Information coming to hand is that the highway is now clear. The electricity pole has been removed. So I don't know if that means the bus should close back. The person didn't say.
That'll give people
Yeah. So our poll this morning, do you think that there should have been a defense of Trinidad and Tobago's image by the government after the statement by the U.S. Vice President? We had 41 people voting in the allotted time. Our poll was a little different today because we had an interview earlier this morning with Dr. Amery Browne. So we had 41 people voting on the poll this morning. Of the 41 people, 40 of you said yes. One person said no. So 40 of you said yes. One person said no. So the yes have it by an absolute huge margin this morning that they felt that there should have been a defense of Trinidad and Tobago's image by the government after the statement by the U.S. Vice President. That's it. The polling is now done.
Just now that paper would come through that camera and get and hit somebody, you know. Watch and and people face that.
I think Jeffrey must have won it. Jeffrey must have looked at the paper.
So of course, let me take off the poll because the polling is now done. And of course, we can now, I suppose we can take some of the calls because we haven't taken calls at all for the morning.
No.
We were very bad at that. But we couldn't because we had a guest.
Yeah.
So we're doing the reverse. Usually we'd have taken the calls earlier, but now we're taking the calls at this point. So the lines are now open. 281-1315, 281-1315. You can weigh in on the topic. And of course, we did discuss international relations this morning because we were speaking to Dr. Amery Browne, who's the former Minister of Caricom and Foreign Affairs. And
all right,
of course,
so let's go.
You heard what he said. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Morning, Captain.
Captain
First of all, I wanted to say that doing some research here, the homicide rate of last month, or total last year in the all of the United States, I sent it to Wendell a while ago. It was 16,924. These are other facts that why our government need to stand up for the country. And we are a sovereign people, and people don't understand that. Some people don't understand. Yesterday, Sir Charles, and I sent you some information, and this is for the integrity of this radio station. The gentleman there in New York made a statement that Rowley signed some paper for the U.S. station, their forces in Trinidad to attack the government. Obviously, he didn't. Either he did it deliberately or he can't read. Because I had other people, I didn't even know, I didn't hear. After I spoke yesterday, I had to go do something. And some other people who listen to the station from Texas and different parts of New York, the silent caller listeners, they researched it and they saw that Mr. Rowley had signed something for a cooperation between the armed forces of Trinidad and Tobago and the U.S. forces. And this gentleman called and said that Mr. Rowley signed things for the U.S. to put their armed forces in Trinidad to attack Venezuela. I think it affects the integrity of the station, so that needs to be corrected later on today by that gentleman. Somehow, somebody has to correct that. Because everybody around the world here listen to this station. More
They've
people
been on
listen.
social media spreading that mischief too, Captain Ron. I've seen it.
Yeah,
yes.
well thanks for clarifying it, though. Thanks for clarifying it, though. And
I've
what
seen
exactly
that.
it was.
I've seen that mischief being
missed it.
spread.
You know, sometimes people are talking and you don't be listening 100% if you're doing something else. So
Mm.
thanks for clearing it up for us.
Yeah, I saw that. Mhm.
And some of those things have
Everybody
a
has-
way of clearing themselves up to it. Because just
Well,
as, you know, some people put out stuff and you may not be on top of everything, and then then others bring the other side of the story and thing too. So it's sometimes it balances itself out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Sorry, Wendell.
No, you go ahead. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, morning, gentlemen.
Mr.
Pinal
Pina.
here.
Morning.
Well, I take the view, as I always do, that we have a elected government in place, and I may disagree on all of that, and I've done that before, especially in the last 10 years. I take the view that if they align with the US is the senior partner, always that's going to be. Anybody's aligned with the US is the senior partner. I know they can't dance limbo and sing calypso, and we know making some inroads with doubles and thing, and they may even get quite good at it. But in the meantime, they are the senior partner. And they're going to make the announcement if we have some kind of international arrangement with them, although it's just bilateral or trilateral. It's of international interest, like a military arrangement. They will make the announcement. And I also think that it is the right of the government to have a change in our direction from non-alignment to alignment with the US. We can do that. Now, I'm not saying that it's justified, because people are going to argue that point. Now, I think it is, but I'm not having an argument over that in my mind.
But you sound like you're arguing yourself.
We should remain non-aligned with that, and we should remain neutral and all of that. That's a position that a government will take, or they will become aligned one way or the other. And if our government sees the wisdom in aligning with the US and Guyana, I just take that as a government position. In this case, I happen to support it, right? I'm fine with it. I think Guyana and Trinidad are under threat from Venezuela to be destabilized. And this destabilization will not affect Jamaica and Barbados and islands upstream, higher up, right? Going up from here. And therefore, our interests and Guyana's interests are pretty much tied into one, and we have to form that alliance, because they will grab Guyanese land, and they have been grabbing our fishermen, and they have come on Soldado Rock, and we have that kind of thing going on. So we have to be watchful in a different way from Jamaica. Now, CARICOM cannot protect us. What are they going to do? Come with a flying fish and beat Maduro over the head?
All right, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Mr. Pierre. Yeah, thanks so much.
He has this way of ridiculing people and institutions that it's astounding. Well, not astounding really, but I mean, I can only take the belittling of people so much when I listen to that man. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, yes, governments can take positions of alignment because you're elected and you can decide and because you were elected. So I take that point. I think the issue, people have less of an issue of you aligning with the US and more an issue with the statements being made about CARICOM. And I think that's where the issue lies. I mean, some people may raise eyebrows with regard to the kind of support you're given to the aligning with the United States and how vocal it is. That's a little strange, because we have generally been non-aligned and we've generally been very neutral in issues. And the issue of Venezuela being next door, at some point, as I said earlier, the US is going to leave the area and Venezuela is still going to be next door. And we are going to have to, navigate our relationships with that. Right now, I mean, I think the leaders of Venezuela have been, for want of a better word, a little bit maybe bemused by the comments that we have been making, as our leaders has been making.
It also doesn't it also depend, Richard, on when they leave, who they leave in charge?
Well, are you saying that they came for regime change?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's what you're suggesting. I don't know that that's their intent. But
okay.
Whatever their intent is, it will become clearer and clearer. But with regard to CARICOM, I think, Mr. Pinal, your assessment of CARICOM is underwhelming, in the sense that CARICOM in itself has a presence on the international stage. And if the countries of CARICOM are at risk for any other issue, we have partners around the planet. And those partners will come to our assistance too. So it's not just about Caricom and Caricom coming to Trinidad and Tobago's assistance or Guyana's assistance. They're international partners that also have vested interests in this area, and this area being peaceful. So I think it's a little simple to just classify what they will come and do. Beat you with a flying fish. That's simplistic. And you know it's simplistic as a former teacher.
Yeah. All right, caller, good morning to you.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
Morning to you, caller.
A few days ago, there was an interview on CNN where they had interviewed an individual, an American professor, I believe it was, who was domiciled in Colombia. And it stated that 70% of the drugs, and he specified cocaine and fentanyl, going to the United States was going through the route through Central America and on the Pacific side, using the Pacific Ocean to get to the United States. Did any of you see that interview?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if the Armada, the United States Armada, will go on the other side of the seas to do interdiction duties there, or it's specifically to deal with Mr. Maduro. You know, we always getting conflicting reports, and the Americans are most noted for that in terms of they're never going to say that they are about regime change and specifically going to target and to capture Mr. Maduro. So, you know, that's understandable. But you really never get the true picture of what the intentions are for military action. And it's so sad, and you wonder if you will ever see I guess you will never see military action happening in Israel for the genocide that is taking place there. You know, my heart goes out to the people of Gaza in terms of what it is that is being done to them, the method of starvation and all that kind of thing. And the world just goes and watches by and probably condoning the extinction of our people. Maybe, I don't know if it is you gentlemen could get some international person that will be able to touch on that situation.
We had Dr. is what's the name of the gentleman? Yeah, Dr. Gonzalez yesterday or day before Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
You know? Yeah, and I had asked him that question. I think in terms of, is it that the Americans trying, what the show of force is to encourage someone from within to deal with the situation in Venezuela, as opposed to them going in to deal with it themselves? You understand? And I think basically he had said he suspected that's what they're about. You know what I mean? To give support to whoever inside of Venezuela wants to make that change. You understand?
Yeah. Caller, good morning.
Time will tell all these things. True. Ms. Henry, could we, I don't have the power that I used to have, but could we avoid calling people racist, even if you think his statements may have pointed in that direction? You understand? We shouldn't address one another, anybody on this chat as a racist. All right?
Caller, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. You know, gentlemen, people are so myopic in this situation, right? So when I talk about alignment and power and so on, we are acutely aware that we are microstates, and the majority of Caricom is microstates. We are acutely aware of that. But what non-alignment has done for us as a region is put us in a powerful position, as we have seen in certain key votes at the United Nations and even at Commonwealth level. And we have garnered a level of respect as small states who take principled stances on key issues. And that is what is important, right? When you look at how Mr. Rubio made a statement at that cabinet meeting around in the U.S. yesterday, it is clear that what emboldened his statement is the press release that was put out by our government, the head of our government last weekend, right? So he is emboldened to say that based on the utterances before when Mr. Trump came into office and when this administration came into office. It has nothing to do with direct alignment because the U.S. is our biggest trading partner in the world. That is not beyond doubt, right? But what I'm saying is that non-alignment has worked for us as a country and as a region. And I just want to go back to something that people talk about. People talk about Maduro being a narco trafficker. On one of the people that I follow online, the Midas Touch Network on YouTube, there are 18 intelligence agencies in the United States of America. Only one said that the Maduro regime is a narco state. You know what that was? That was the FBI. All the others, under their Homeland Security and Department and National Intelligence, said that there's nothing to connect Maduro and his government to narco trafficking except the FBI, who is headed by a Trump sycophant to the extreme degree, Mr. Kash Patel. You understand what I'm saying? So if 17 out of your 18 intelligence agencies, and which we are told U.S. has the best intelligence agencies, isn't that a red flag to point to listen? All what they are telling us is not true. And especially when I look at the statement that was put out by our Caricom ambassador, plenipotentiary, Mr. Ralph Mirage, saying that now is a chance for true democracy to take place in Venezuela. What does that mean? That is a tacit support of regime change. And we must not forget what happened in 1989 with Manuel Noriega, right? Where the precursor to invading Panama was terrorism or torture by noise, blasting rock music into the Papal Embassy where he was holed up, and then 2,000 U.S. troops landed and captured the man and took him back to America. You can't forget that. This is the reality of the Monroe Doctrine, the Roosevelt corollary to the Monroe Doctrine that has been the U.S. Hegemonic right abrogated onto themselves since 1815, when Monroe was the American president. And all U.S. presidents since then have done that. Yeah. It's amazing to me that people can't look through all of these things and just for themselves come down to clear and sensible reason as to what we are facing or what we could face if this thing escalates further. Thanks for my rant, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Thanks for his rant.
Apology accepted, Miss Henry. It's just that he clearly is an agent provocateur, and I mean, he probably can't type these days because he probably was typing under some name, so he chose to call in to provoke you all. I mean, he just makes this. Sometimes I shudder to think of the people he said he used to teach and whatnot, but it's sometimes you have to leave things slide and let people be their own, because they're not going to change. There's some people not going to change after all this time and after all this hatred they have built up inside of them. They're not going to change. You know what I mean? The government in power now, they're happy, and we pay all power to them, but it's just not worth the stress sometimes. And because the issue of Venezuela attacking Trinidad or attacking Guyana, how long are we hearing that? Long time. Has it ever happened? No. It happened in the little spurts of piracy out in on the seas and whatnot. We heard about all those things. You really think the U.S. coming to stop that? As Richard said earlier, the U.S. going to go, They're not going to stay out there forever, They're going to go at some point in time. What are you to do then?
What do you expect that will happen when they go then?
Man, I don't even know what will happen when they come.
What do you expect to happen?
As long as I can get on a plane and leave safely.
Well, they're here already. And in international waters already, I think they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as I could get on a plane and leave safely and don't have to worry about that no-fly zone and all these kind of things when they're out there, right?
Caller, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I think as Richard said, the journalists, the media has collectively failed in questioning the new government. Take, for instance, the deliberate interventions to get rid of people in the prison service and in the army and others. No questions have been asked. Look, even this public spat with FCB that saw the price of the share drop by almost 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
That was unnecessary. Now, in any other country, a journalist would have gone and see how many thousands of shares would have been purchased with that discounted price, check to see if they had any ties with the minister or the government in an effort to see if it was something deliberately done to cause a discount. And I mean, with the past FCB IPO under this previous government in 2010 to 15, I mean, you can't put anything past them. And no journalists didn't even ask a question.
But many times they're not available to ask questions. No, you can have investigative journalism that could look at the issues you're raising, but in terms of grilling ministers and stuff, I think all media houses are getting a lot of difficulty getting access to ministers. If you watch news any given night, they will always say they attempted to get in contact with so-and-so, and to news time, there was no response.
Was there a Monday night forum Monday gone?
So there seems to be obviously.
Rudy work, go to the security exchange, find out how many thousands.
No, but that's what I said. So they can do investigative journalism in that regard. But in terms of actually interfacing with that Minister Tanku or if you want to speak, who else is in the ministry? Who's the minister in the Ministry of Finance? The Minister Tanku, but who else is the minister? I'm not so sure. But a lot of these ministers are not making themselves accessible to media. A lot of them.
Because they have not had a postcard for a while, and I don't think they had Monday night forum Monday gone. Did they?
I don't know.
No, I didn't hear anything about the Monday night forum this week, and I'm not sure if there was a postcard last week also. You know, but of course people love to blame the media for not doing their work, but the media continues to do their work.
But a whole thing went viral yesterday on a particular minister in a ministry, and everybody asking me if it's true. I say I don't know and I don't care. I don't know and I don't care. But they keep sending it to me, asking me if it's true. People from living abroad and all, they say, oh, he ain't nothing from him, and you hear he resigned. I say, but I don't know and I don't care.
And they hear he's what?
He resigned from the ministry as a minister in the ministry. I say, I don't know and I don't care.
Who's that?
You can't read between the lines? Like, jeez.
What kind of ministry?
You can read between our house. You can read between our house. You can read between our house. Or it has to be a line.
Wait till you chat. Henry, good morning to you.
I refuse to share it. I get it so many times. I refuse to share
it. Richard.
Morning, Tina.
To hear Captain Ron gave us the toll in the United States, because it seems like they don't put out how much people died for the year. I remember when under the PNM they used to have it on every front page when they read the news and they call a murder, they say, and the murder is now to this. And now you can't, if it ain't for Ian Allen, you will never know where he made a toll as from. which I saw he had up on the screen 246, but no media house, no print media is putting out what the murder toll is when they used to do it all last year.
So
I want to ask Richard something.
they're working for the government, I
Richard,
suppose.
when a Venezuelan or any foreigner, but I'm focusing on Venezuelans because they are in the news, they're involved in home invasions, robberies. When somebody who is an illegal Venezuelan, the police caught, it was 4 of them involved in a home invasion, they caught 3. What happens? Are they charged, sent to jail, or are they deported back to their country? I want
No,
to
they are
find
charged.
out.
They are charged and they go before the court system. Once they're found guilty, they'll be deported. Even if they're not found guilty, if they're illegal, they'll probably be deported too. And if they're found guilty and they're sentenced, usually there's an international covenant on prisoners that countries are signatories to, and you can elect to serve your time in your home country. So they can serve their time in Venezuela, or they will be deported.
Oh, thank you, Richard, because I am finding these Venezuelans, they overdoing this thing. We have enough of our local bandits, and you telling me them joining the thing too? Nah, man, I must commend the police officers who held 3 of them with that home invasion in DB. Thank you, officers. Well done.
Okay.
You'll have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. Media again. Blame the media.
We have 2 minutes left on the show, folks. You can call it down.
Media saying what you want them to say is the best thing.
Morning, my neighbor Ronald. Are you in the country? And I haven't seen you so long.
Well, see, we're close to the news time now. I wouldn't take the call right now. So let's go to the news and come back now.
I feel your breaks in somebody.
No.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio. I'm Derek. The ceremonial opening of the 2025-2026 law term will be scaled back and held at the Hall of Justice in Port of Spain instead of Napa. The judiciary says the event on September 16 will be limited to a court sitting, with Chief Justice Ivor Archie delivering an address at 10 a.m. It will be broadcast live on TV and social media. The decision follows government's cancellation of Independence Day celebrations this year, including the parade and fireworks, because of the state of emergency and ongoing security threats. Instead, a national day of prayer and reflection will be observed. State-sponsored fireworks are canceled, though permits will be given for private use of silent fireworks to accommodate vulnerable people and animals. The judiciary says the full ceremonial format, with service and parade, will return to Napa in 2026. There is confusion over whether First Citizens Bank CEO Karen Darbezi has resigned. Darbezi has written to Planning Minister Kennedy Swartzing, insisting she never resigned, but instead proposed going on pre-retirement leave. In an August 19 letter, she outlined a transition plan, taking vacation in September, assisting with the handover to Group CEO designate Jason Julian, then proceeding on pre-retirement leave until her scheduled retirement in May 2026. However, Swartzing, citing advice from the Attorney General, responded on August 20th that he accepted her resignation and directed her to proceed on immediate leave. Darbezi replied the same day, seeking a correction of the record, stressing she only proposed retirement in 2026. The Finance Ministry has since instructed her to return all company devices. The bank's board later approved her vacation from August 21st, with retirement now effective October 21st. Deputy CEO Jason Julian has been appointed acting group CEO, while Sana Ragbi will act as deputy CEO. The Finance Ministry has also called a special shareholders meeting to elect a new board of directors. A tragic fire has claimed the life of a Mon Repos man. 60-year-old David Greaves died after trying to save his home, which caught fire while he was preparing to cook on a fireside early Sunday. Police were told Greaves accidentally used too much gasoline to accelerate the flame, sparking a sudden blaze that quickly engulfed his 10-by-10 galvanized iron home and nearby bush along Navitt Road. The structure had no electricity or running water. Fire officers from Mon Repos responded around 12:30 a.m. and were able to extinguish the flames. Greaves, who suffered burns to his legs and smoke inhalation, was first taken to the San Fernando General Hospital by neighbors and later intubated. He succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment. 4 sisters have won a high court battle for access to their family's land in Roxborough, Tobago. On August 25th, Justice Frank Seepersad ruled that Maudlin, Ava, Carmaria, and Karina London are legally entitled to a right-of-way across neighboring land owned by Peaches Douglas. The Londons argued the strip of land, 56 feet long and 2.5 meters wide, had been their only practical route to the main road for decades. The judge agreed, calling the alternative path treacherous and nearly impassable during the rainy season. Douglas, who inherited the property from her late father, claimed the Londons had no legal right and had stopped using it. But after reviewing testimony, documents, and visiting the site, Justice Seepersad sided with the Londons, finding they had continuously used the access for over 20 years, enough to establish a legal easement. He declared the sisters, their families, and licensees may now cross the strip by foot or vehicle, ensuring permanent access to their Roxborough land. 3 Venezuelan men are in police custody following a home invasion and robbery in Barrackpore on Sunday night. Police said the suspects are a 25-year-old of Barrackpore and 2 men aged 19 and 26 of Lechuz Road, Pennell. Around 8 p.m., the victim, also Venezuelan, was sitting outside his home with his wife when 4 men, one armed with a gun and another with a cutlass, approached. The men, described as slim-built, Spanish-speaking, and dressed in dark clothing with black caps, forced the couple inside, tied them up in the bedroom, and demanded cash. The bandits ransacked the house and escaped with $15,000. The victim later freed himself, called police via 999, and ran into the road to seek help. Acting Corporal Balgar and PC Daniel Pierre of the Debe Police Post responded, and while patrolling Wellington Road, spotted 4 men matching the descriptions. One escaped near the TT Post mailing center, but the officers arrested the remaining 3. A search revealed almost $11,000 in $100 bills on the 19-year-old suspect. Nothing illegal was found on the others. The victim later identified the men on the scene, shouting and gesturing in Spanish that they had just robbed him. Also at the scene were Acting Sergeant Sechurin, Sergeant Sukram, and PCs Ali and Boudram. Barrackpore police are continuing investigations. In international news, Ukrainian forces say Russia has crossed into the eastern Dnipropetrovsk region, but their advance has been stopped. Viktor Trehubov of the Dnipro Operational Group told the BBC it was the first large-scale attack there. Russia has long claimed to be operating in the area, pushing from nearby Donetsk. This week, the Ukrainian Deep State Project said Russian troops occupied 2 border villages. But Ukraine's military denied that, insisting it still controls Zaporizhzhia, and fighting continues near Novohorigorivka. Moscow has not claimed Dnipropetrovsk outright, but has attacked its major cities, including the regional capital Dnipro. The region, with more than 3 million people before the war, is Ukraine's second biggest industrial hub after the Donbass. Despite heavy casualties, Russia has made recent gains in Donetsk, though a surprise push near Dobropilya earlier this month now appears halted. And that's news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
S&H Rum Box, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box, drinking out of the box.
Coach, yes, Coach, are you passionate about serving others and supporting people as they reach the highest version of themselves? My name is Jesse McBarrow, and I've been able to earn a living as a life coach serving people all around the world, and so can you. Are you ready to be internationally certified? Enroll today for this program and learn everything that you need to know about being a professional life coach. Listen, there are payment plans available as well too, so see you in class.
For registration, contact the Institute of Health and Fitness at 336-4935.
Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair. We do it all.
You don't leave foul to watch God. It's in San Fernando. Queen's Hall was on fire. Now we head to San Fernando at Naparima Bowl. 2 nights only. Saturday the 6th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 6:30 p.m.
I am still laughing about the show at Queen's Hall. If there's a repeat, I will be there.
Tickets available at the Naparima Bowl box office from Tuesday, September 2nd, and now at usual outlets.
I rate it 10 out of 10. I laughed for the entire show.
That was a fantastic production, man.
You don't leave foul to watch God. San Fernando, don't miss it.
All right, so we are back. Of course, we are kind of twisted, so let me fix this there. So there we are. So we are back, and of course, this is the close. These are the closing minutes of the show.
Of course, we had. Of course, the party bus route is now officially closed again. Okay, folks, they ain't waste no time. They ain't get people in the morning a little blind.
It's 12 noon. You know.
I find so. It open and close back. Bam, just like that.
I just want to give you guys some statistics before we go as to probably why the U.S. Vice President would have made the analogy to Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I just feel I should give it to you guys because it's you know they have this thing that they call per capita ratio or something like that, right? Just broke it down. And
the U.S. sent something for you to read or?
No, I just pulled it up and you can get it on the internet thing, you know. So, but I'm just showing you why, because per capita in the U.S. when they break it down is 5 like per 100,000, and in Trinidad and Tobago with our murder rate for last year is 45.7 per 100,000. So it's our per capita murders is way higher than the U.S.
Okay.
Google it.
All right.
Good.
I don't think. Yeah. All right. No problem. This chat.
The chat's giving you stress, Wanda.
Read it.
Huh?
Read it. Read down to the end.
I have no time to look at the chat. I'll be doing other things. Just not that I actually, you saw Sir Charles, just not that I accidentally exited.
Is that what happened? Because I was lying down and I said, I don't know what, I just hear like something going on and I say, somebody going to jump in just now.
Yeah, I exited completely because I was now about to start the ads and somehow I clicked something and I was off. And I said, I said, Sir Charles will be quick on the draw.
Yeah, but I actually, it's only after I realized in that little millisecond that, hey, where is he? I said, where's the technical operator?
I was.
You know what I'm wondering? Normally for Independence Day, the military would have their own thing. The TTPS would have something at Police Administration Building. The Army would have something. The Fire Services would have something at the Fire Services headquarters on Rice Road. Is it that they're not having these things at all?
You don't have to ask us questions we can't answer.
No, but I'm just saying, I haven't heard anything. I know that the people in these services look forward to these events. You know, the Fire Services has a big thing there on Rights Road, where they welcome people who are family members of fire officers themselves, you know, after that would have generally been after the parade. Is it that they're not having anything at all at these different venues?
We don't know. What I do know for sure is that tickets are on sale for you. Don't leave out to watch corn at K-Squared Fashions in C3 Center, K-Squared Fashions in Brentwood Mall, and Fens of Marbella by the roundabout. Tickets are on sale right now, so you can get the tickets for you. Don't leave out to watch corn, because next week, Saturday and Sunday, we come in to mash up Naparima Bowl. That's what I do for sure.
Yeah, and people only make sure they get all their tickets earlier, because if all they don't get all their tickets early, all they can blame the media.
You're all toting that today, boy.
Yes.
You're toting that.
Once the narrative is not running in people's favor, is the media not doing the work? So all you go and get all your tickets, because you want to blame the media, right?
Anyway, we will be on Gael TV from September 2nd, 2025. We will be on Gael TV as opposed to M&E TV. We will be on Gael TV from September 2nd. All right, don't forget that, folks. Right?
All right, so have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health on this Wednesday morning.
Yep, folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God.
No goodbye words, John.
Oh, goodbye, everybody. And blame the media.
Bye-bye.
This has been The Breakfast Show.
Oh, yes, indeed it has. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay